On May 19th, Andrej Karpathy walked into Anthropic, and his job title isn't what you think. He's not there to make Claude smarter. He's there to make Claude smarter. What's up, founders? If you're new here, I am JT, and this is Startup Venture Lab. I break down what's actually happening in AI and what it means for the people building companies right now. Not the hype cycle version, the version that matters when you're deciding where to spend your next dollar of compute, your next engineering hire, or your next 90 days of runway. Today we're talking about the Karpathy Move, because on the surface it looks like a talent war headline. Underneath, it's a signal about where the entire frontier is going in the next 18 months. And if you're building anything that touches AI, you need to understand this signal before your competitors do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. I drop founder-focused breakdowns every week, and the algorithm needs the nudge. Here's the basic story. Andrej Karpathy, co-founder of OpenAI, former director of AI at Tesla, the guy who coined vibe coding, the guy whose YouTube videos pull millions of views, just joined Anthropic. He's reporting to Nick Joseph, head of pre-training. He's shutting down his AI education company, Eureka Labs, at least for now. But here's the part the headlines buried. Anthropic told reporters exactly what he's building. A new team focused on using Claude to accelerate pre-training research. Read that again. They're using their AI to improve the next version of their AI. That is the recursive self-improvement flywheel. And it's no longer a theory. It's a roadmap with a hire attached to it. To understand why this hire matters, you have to understand what Karpathy has been building since he left OpenAI. Most people saw the educational content, the tutorials, the Nano GPT walkthroughs, but the project that actually predicted this move dropped in March 2026. It's called Auto Research, open source, sitting on GitHub right now. About 30 lines of code on top of his NanoChat training stack. Fortune magazine called it the Karpathy Loop, and that name stuck because it captures the whole thing in 4 steps. Step 1. The AI proposes a change to the training code. Think of it as a hypothesis. Step 2. The AI runs the experiment. Karpathy capped it at 5 minutes of wall clock time. Not compute budget, not token budget, just 5 minutes on the clock, then cut it off. Step 3. Evaluate against a metric. Validation loss, training speed, whatever you can measure cleanly. Step 4. If the change made the model better, commit it. If it made it worse, revert it, then loop. That's it. That's the whole thing. And here's why founders should care. Karpathy let this run on his home setup for 2 days. The agent executed roughly 700 experiments. It found about 20 stackable improvements. It cut the time to train a GPT-2 scale model from a little over 2 hours down to about 1.8 hours. That's an 11% speedup produced by a small model running on consumer hardware, with no human in the loop. Karpathy himself said he was mildly surprised it worked this well on the first naive try. When the guy who built it tells you he's surprised, pay attention. Now, scale this up. Karpathy's experiment used a tiny model on a home rig. Anthropic is about to point this same loop at frontier-scale pre-training runs that cost tens of millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars. Pre-training is where the money goes. It's also where the smallest decisions have the largest downstream consequences. Data mix, architecture choices, curriculum order, evaluation signals, hundreds of decisions, each one compounding into the final model. If Claude can help Anthropic find better pre-training tricks even a few percent faster than human researchers can, the payoff is enormous. Not academic. Real dollars. Here's the context most people are missing. Anthropic has been quietly stacking compute commitments, major Google Cloud deal, a piece of Colossus 1 and Colossus 2 from xAI. Just this week, talks with Microsoft surfaced. They've been compute constrained for months, and they are clearly done being conservative about it. When you're about to spend that kind of money, every percent of efficiency matters. An 11% improvement at frontier scale is not a paper. It's a quarter of your training budget back. So zoom out. Jack Clark, Anthropic co-founder, said in a recent post that he gives a 60% chance we hit fully automated AI research and development by the end of 2028. 2.5 years, that's the forecast. Karpathy is the execution. Clark says the loop is coming. Karpathy already built a working prototype of the loop. Now he's inside the building with frontier compute. The strategy writes itself. Here's where it gets interesting for founders. Not every lab is betting on the same horse. There is a real split right now in how the top researchers think about the path to AGI. And if you're allocating attention, capital, or career moves around AI, you need to see both sides. On one side, you have the recursive self-improvement camp. Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, Dario Amodi, Karpathy, Ilya Sutskever, even Elon. Their thesis is straightforward. Make a language model that codes really, really well. Point that model at the problem of training better language models. Let the loop run, the compounding takes care of the rest. This is the bet Anthropic just doubled down on with the Karpathy hire. Worth noting, Sergey Brin came out of retirement at Google and is reportedly running a strike force on exactly this same approach. So even inside Google, there's a faction that thinks this is the path. On the other side, you have Demis Hassabis and the DeepMind core. They're betting more heavily on world models, systems that learn physics, video, audio, embodiment. The thesis there is that scaling language models alone won't get you to AGI. You need a model that actually understands the world, not just text about the world. And then way out on the edge, you have Yann LeCun, who's been saying for years that language models are a dead end entirely. So which camp is right? I don't know. Nobody knows yet. But here's what you should notice. Anthropic has refused every side quest. No music model, no video model, no image model, no voice model. They are locked in on one thesis, and they just hired one of the most credible voices in the field to execute it. Let me tell you why this matters if you're building right now. 3 things. First, if recursive self-improvement actually works at frontier scale, the cost curve on intelligence drops faster than anyone is currently pricing in. The models you're building on top of in 12 months are going to be cheaper, faster, and meaningfully smarter than what you're using today. Plan your product roadmap around that, not around current capability. Second, the competitive moat between frontier labs is going to widen, not narrow. If Anthropic gets the loop spinning before anyone else, the gap compounds. That changes who you partner with and who you build on. Third, Karpathy's own move tells you something about the next 24 months. He said publicly more than once that he felt more aligned with humanity than with any frontier lab. He also said that staying outside the frontier for too long means your judgment drifts. He decided the next stretch is too formative to watch from the sidelines. If the most independent voice in AI just decided he needs to be inside the building, that's a signal about timing. The next 6 to 12 months are going to be when the thesis either confirms or breaks. Build accordingly. Look, I'm not going to pretend I know how this plays out. Nobody does. But here's the bet I'm watching for. If we start seeing Anthropic blog posts authored by Karpathy walking us through Claude-generated training improvements, the story gets a lot bigger fast. If everything goes quiet, that's its own kind of signal. Either way, the next 2 quarters tell us a lot. This is the kind of move that looks like a hire and is actually a roadmap. Pay attention to the roadmap. If this breakdown was useful, do me 3 quick favors. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment with which camp you think is right, recursive self-improvement or world models. I read all of them. And if you know a founder who's making AI bets right now, send them this video. That's how this channel grows, and that's how we keep these breakdowns coming. I'm building Startup Venture Lab for operators and founders who want the real read, not the recap. More coming next week. I am JT. I will see you in the next one.